Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another episode of our Junk Journal Waterfall Ephemera series. And I wanted to show you how to make a waterfall inside of a pouch. I have done this in the past, it's on my channel, but I thought I would bring it back with a little bit of a different twist. I have my normal supplies, not many supplies needed here. I've got my Fabri-Tac, which we will be using, my white glue, which I probably should put the pin in it until I'm actually ready. Put a pin in it, Cara-Renee. Put a pin in it. There we go. And I've got my corner rounder, which I need to move all this stuff over here, as you know. My white glue again, my vintage photo archival ink, that can stay over here, a pencil for some marking, and then my ruler. So this is what we're going to be making. This was a big struggle project for me. So this is the template. So it's a pouch that folds like this. This is narrow enough that it could fit in a pocket. It could also be probably clipped in. It can be put in between signatures, however you want to do it. But it folds like that. We've got a gusset, or not a gusset, yeah, a gusset on both ends so that you've got some room for a little bit of expansion. And I've got all the measurements on here. I haven't yet come back and done it all in the black ink, because if I make an error and I discover I need to alter this, I want to be able to do that before I upload the video and do the picture. So the left panel, which is this panel here, is 4 by 8 1/4, and that is to you see 4, yeah, so that's 4, yes, so 4 to this score line here, because that score line is giving benefit to this front cover, or this flap. Then the middle panel, which is covered up by our mechanism, this mechanism, is 4 1/4, so 4 1/4 from this line to this line. And it's the whole height is 8 1/4, and then the right panel is 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. And I just made notes that this is decorative paper, decorative paper, decorative paper, and then the pocket is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 with a 1/4 inch gusset on 3 sides. And I'm just indicating we've got score lines. We've got 2 score lines here. Yeah, 2 score lines there, and then our mechanism is 4 by 7 3/4. Okay, so that's what we're going to be making. I'm going to leave that open over there because I guarantee you I will need it. I've had such a wild week. Like, I've had very little time in the studio, so this is the only one I was able to do, because I just haven't had, I've had family that has needed me, and it's just been a really nutty, crazy week. But it's Thursday night, and I'm still trying to get this video up for Friday, so fingers crossed it goes okay. If you see the video, it went okay. So I also created a separate template that is in pieces. Okay, so this piece represents the right panel on that. So piece 1, these are both piece 1. This is a page cut all in one piece with the same measurements as the template. I just thought it would be easy if you wanted to create one of these. You could just put this down on your paper, trace around it, and cut it, and know that you've got the dimensions that you're looking for. This is piece 2, which is the flap. Okay, and so that will all be in the photos as well. Oh, I didn't cut that one down. That should be 8 1/4, or 8 inches, 8 1/4 inches. Sorry, I should need to cut that down. Let me make a mark so that I remember to do that before I take the photos. So there we go. That'll get cut off. And then I also did a separate mechanism just so you could see. So this measures 4 by 7 3/4. So if you wanted to go ahead and cut this piece down, we've been doing many videos on this where I've said just leave it long, because then you have plenty of room to make errors and whatever. But if you wanted to pre-cut it, you would just want to make sure, if you're following my example exactly, that you make your first score line just about 5/8 of an inch from the top of the paper, and then you would just score 7 score lines down, and then you would end up with the same result as I have here. Okay, so I'm not going to use those. And then this is I made my own scalloped edge. So all I did is I took a piece of paper and I just did a funny little curve. And then when you open it up, it's even on both sides. So that's what we're going to be using for our flap. We're going to be tracing that similar to what I did on this one. So let me see if I can breathe now. Okay, so these are all of our pieces already ready. This is some extra stuff, just in case we need it. Sometimes I bump into problems. So the kit I'm using is called the Sweet Summer Kit. It is also from Pink Monarch Prints, and I'm done making ephemera for the keepsake journal, so I need to just, I may only be doing one or two samples in each video for a while, because I need to make that. I don't have a new journal planned, but I still need to be creating content. So we're just going to start using these kits and just enjoy them. So I've already cut my mechanisms. So I forgot to talk about that, or not the mechanisms, but the waterfall pieces. They measure 4 by 4 1/4, and you want 6 of them. Okay, and then you'll need your mechanism piece, which is this piece here. I'm going to leave mine full because I just prefer to work that way. So it is already cut to 4 inches wide, and then we'll be doing our scoring, 7 score lines, 1/4 of an inch apart, and then we'll go from there just as we have done before. These are all decorative paper that we'll be doing for the waterfall elements, but we need to start with our bases. So I just made a note that this is the envelope, the outside of the envelope. This is the envelope flap side, the flap. I want these to match. I decided I wanted those to match, and then this would be the pocket, and then some journal card papers that we can cut some journal cards out of, because we do have a slim pocket there. So what you're going to want to do is decide, I already decided that I want this to be the outside, and then I printed this paper on the inside. Okay, so you're going to want to decide that first. So I'm just going to stick that sticky note up there and up there. So I want this to be the outside, which means I need to flip this over and work with it, and then we'll work with this one in a second. Okay, so right now it is just a regular piece of paper. In my case, it is, I believe, 10 3/4 by 8 1/4. Yes, so we want to go ahead and bring this over, and I need to make sure I don't cover up my template. I can see what I'm doing. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. Make sure this is going the right direction, though. That is important, even though it's got some script that's going this way, which you think you would keep it this way, but I don't mind it when it's sideways. So I'm just going to evaluate which way. I don't think it matters which way. So I'm going to open up this arm, and I'm going to cut this down to 8 and where's my, I need my other pieces. Sorry guys. I just walked in from work. I've been struggling. I have just not had time to do anything, and so I need to get the video done. So I just kind of sat down here, plopped my little fanny down, and we're going to do it. So the total width of this piece is 8 1/4 inches wide. So we're going to go ahead and just trim that to 8 1/4. 8 1/4. And it should be already 8 1/4 inches tall. Okay, yep, that looks about right. Yep. Is it? Is it though? Yes, it is. Okay, perfect. So that is ready to go. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to score at, and let me just show you this piece by piece in case you're following along. So this is, we're going to score at 3, we're going to score from this edge at 3 3/4 inches. So I'm going to bring this over, and we're going to score at 3 3/4, which is right there. Okay, and then we're going to score again 1/4 of an inch. So we're just going to slide this over 1/4 of an inch and do one more score line, and that's going to create our little gusset that we want for this piece. Okay, so I do like the rounded look. I don't want to round this bit, but I do want to round these corners. So I'm going to do that just so I don't forget and lose my mind, which has been known to happen from time to time. So I'm just going to round those 2 corners on the outside edge, okay? Oh, wait a minute. I just did that wrong. Did I do that wrong? No. No, I didn't. Oh, shoot. I think I did. Let me check that again. Sorry, guys. This might have to be the inside after all, because I think I just scored that based on this being the inside, not the outside. And it does matter. So that is, well, 3 3/4. So let's turn her over, see, because if I do that, well, it doesn't matter because it is all, it's not directional. So let me just fold this. I'm sorry for bumbling along with this, but I just want to make sure that I'm thinking about this correctly. So I'm going to put a little bit of ink on that first score line. And so that's going to go like that. And basically is all I want to do is make sure that I'm going to get a little bit more ink so I can get a good ink line here so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, since I am floundering like a fish in water. Okay, so that is our score line there. And then our other one is here. I'm just testing a theory here because I didn't pay attention when I scored that. You would want to make sure that your paper is going in the right direction and that you've got your inside and your outside straight. So that's the inside. So when this folds, this should measure the same as this. So let's just bring her over. And it does. So we did fine. Again, if this was directional, we could have a problem, but it is not. So that is that. We're done with that. I will ink that stuff up here in a little bit. So then our next piece is this piece, and I'm going to set this trimmer over here for a moment, and we're going to work on this piece. The sorry guys, this piece, which is our piece 2, and it needs to be 3 3/4 inches wide. Let me just show you that really quick. 3 3/4 inches wide by 8 1/4 inches tall. Oh, it does need to be. What did I do? Uh-oh. This is 8. Oh, my heavens. My heavens. 8 1/4 by... Oh, it's 8. It's 8 inches tall. I must have changed that, so I'll have to change the template. I think that I did these wrong, which is okay. So, let me just check this. Oh my goodness. Just bear with me, guys. I promise it'll be okay. So that is 8 1/4. So technically we need to cut that down so that everything matches. How did I do that? I do not know how I did that. Well, that's right though. It's just not right to this. So I cut this too small. That's what I did. Yeah, so we're going to pretend that that's actually 8 1/4. I cut this piece 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So we're good. Sorry for the floundering there. So we've got this going like that. We're just going to leave that alone. Okay, so now this piece, the thing you have to think about with this is we're going to cut it down first so that we know what we're working with. And I think I want this half over here. I believe I want this half over here. So I am going to cut it to the trimmer here. So I'm going to turn that around and I'm going to feed it in just because the way my cutter works. And I'm going to cut that at 3 3/4. Okay, like that. And we're going to set that aside just for a moment just so I can show you what we're doing. So then what's going to happen, we want this to still be the outside. So when we score this, this is going to flip this way. Okay, so, and the reason why I'm rehearsing that is because this is the scalloped edge and this would be the edge that we do to score lines. So let's start with this edge so we don't get too confused. And I'm going to use this template. It is wider than this, but I'm just going to line it up here to my paper as best I can. Again, perfection is not at play in the studio, so we'll do the very best we can with what we have. And I'm going to go ahead and just trace around it. And the only reason why I'm not bending it in half like I did the template is because I don't want that crease to show. So that's why I'm using a template. There we go. So we should be done with that. Oh, do I even see the line? Barely. Oh, let me try that again. Oh my heavens. Oh my heavens. Let's see. Let's try that again. I turned the fan off, so now I'm dying of heat. Oh my goodness. I'm all kinds of befuddled tonight. Okay, let's do that a little bit darker. We need to be able to see that line. Just going all around that shape and then off here. Okay, I think that's better. I can't really tell. I'm going to use my fussy cut scissors here because it's a little bit easier to get an intricate cut. And I'm going to just try to follow that line as best I can. There we go. So that's it. And again, once we gusset this, this will flip this way, this will flip this way, and so that's what we'll have, okay? And it looks like it's going to be a little bit, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell if it's upside down or not. So now we're going to bring this, bring my score tool in, and we're going to score 2 score lines 1/4 inch apart. So I'm lining this up to the first score line that I want. So this is my 1/4 inch line right here, and I'm just going to give that a good score, and I'm going to move it over 1 to the right and score it again like that. Easy as pie, as they say. Let's just go ahead and fold this down, fold this out, and I'm going to grab my bone folder here. We want really good creases. There we go. And we've got one more here. I can't remember exactly why I did that second one, because it's kind of funky because it shows, but I kind of was running out of bandwidth to figure it out a better way. So if you've got a better way, I'd love to hear it, because we need that gusset is what this is for. So, but it shows, so that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, so then when we put this on, it's going to go like this. Okay, and only this side is going to get glued down. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to ink up the rest of the front and back of this and all of this, and I'll be back. Okay, so I do want to take a minute and just look at if there's a way for us to hide that. Oh, I forgot this edge. For us to hide the part of that gusset. I'm going to show you why on my sample here. Just give me a second to finish this off. There we go. So on my sample, where did you go? Oh my goodness, come on. On my sample, we have this showing. So see how it's gusseted here? So we've got this paper here. So I'm trying to think if there's another way. So let's explore that together. So let's make sure we're going the right direction. So this would go like this. Oh, I guess it won't matter because it's the same paper. So on the other one, I flipped the paper, so I had different prints. So this will be fine, just like that. Okay. So I do want to, I don't think I need to really ink those in the inside, those gussets or those score lines. So I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac, and I just feel like I need to crease this just a little bit more since I've been messing around with it. You want that to be pretty flat so that you can control where it's attaching. And this is where the Fabri-Tac is going to come in, because I need to be able to move this around and adjust it. So I'm just going to apply some Fabri-Tac on that edge. Sorry, it's getting close to my body. There we go. And we're going to turn this over like this. Okay. And I'm actually going to just leave it like that. So this is already flattened down. So I'm going to place this on this edge. Okay, as best I can. Just going to do the best I can. Okay, and I'm just going to pick it up and make sure everything looks even. You do have to be careful because that Fabri-Tac will move. So that's how we get that gusset. Okay, so now we've got a gusset for that fold. Okay, right there. Don't want to move it too much, but there we go. So when this closes up, she's just going to go like that. A beautiful little wallet with a waterfall element and a pocket. So let's open that up. We're going to try to be gentle there and not affect that. Actually, we can set that aside because we're ready to do our waterfall element or mechanism. So I'm bringing the score tool back over. And where did my... So this is also the same color, which is kind of weird that that's the same color, but I guess it's okay. Everything blends in really nicely, which I guess there's a benefit. So we're going to go ahead and we're following the same way I've done these in the past. So I'm going to start down here. I believe I think I decided it was a 1.5 inch mark on my cutter here. Yeah, 1.5. So it's the second solid line here just for reference. And I'm going to go ahead and score 7 times 1/4 inch apart. So 1, and I'm moving it up. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, obviously, we had more room in this one to put more waterfall because I have all this space down here, but I just didn't have the bandwidth for it, honestly, you guys. It was too much to try to imagine doing something more than I was already doing. So I'm trying to give myself some grace there. So I'm going to go ahead and start folding these. Where's my score lines? There. I'm going to do it on this side so I can see them a little bit better. Okay, and I'm just going to fold those. Let's go ahead and burnish those at the same time just for the tutorial's sake. We've done this enough that if you've been practicing along with me and trying it, you already know the importance of this scoring to keep that mechanism moving effectively. As I mentioned in another video, I will be doing a mechanism that has a pull on it, a pull mechanism, but not yet. I am never so busy in my life, you guys. I really actually have a very boring, quiet life, but it has not been boring or quiet for the last, I don't know, 3 weeks. It feels like it's just been absolute bonkers. So, and I thought about not doing the video, not putting something up for Friday, but it's like, that doesn't feel good, to my heart. It doesn't support my dreams and my goals. And so I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to do this. So there we go. And I was also trying to rush home because I want to film before my husband gets home and turns the TV on. So I just left him a note out in the kitchen saying I was filming and please to not turn the TV on yet. So he'll probably eat something. We've got some leftovers. So I'm just going to... I'm going to go ahead and ink all the way across. So in some of them, I've encouraged you to only ink in the center because we don't necessarily want to see those score lines. But in this case, our waterfall elements also are 4 inches wide. So it's going to cover up all of this inking. And it does help to when you're gluing all your pieces on. So let me just finish inking these and then we'll proceed. And I do want to thank the person who, I think her name was Elaine, and she just left me the sweetest comment about the video, and because it was the last video where I commented about, I hope the TV wasn't too loud, and he's in there watching TV, and she suggested some ear pods or something for him that he wouldn't go for that. So I decided I just need to plan better. I just need to plan so that my project is ready to film when I get home from work because I have a good hour and a half before he gets home. So that's what we're aiming to do. So those are our lines. So you just want to make sure you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gaps, 6 spaces. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now we can put that aside for a moment and we're going to get our papers over here. So I picked all the papers that I've used. So other than I added the pink. So we've got that one, and I do want to kind of get these going the same direction. Like, well, is there a direction? I don't know. Guess it doesn't matter. So we've got those two, and then we've got these two, and then we've got two of the floral. So I believe what I would like to do is have one of these be at the top. So they do measure 4 by 4 1/4. So just like in the previous videos, we want to make sure that when we start rounding corners and such, that we've got it going in the right direction. So let's go ahead and make sure these are all the same. Let's see, like that. I'm just going to stack them back up. Oh my goodness. And then we can just check the easy way, right? Like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to round the corners on the bottom here. So make sure your paper, if you're using the same dimensions and you want to round, make sure it's on the that you're rounding on this in the same direction. So I wouldn't want to round some of the corners on this corner always on the bottom. So that's just my suggestion. So I'll be right back. Okay, this is the last one, and then we'll be ready to start arranging them. You can kind of lay them out and see what order you want them to be in and how you want them to complement each other. So I'll go through that with you again here. There we go. Okay, so let's get some stuff out of the way here. So I'm going to start from top to bottom because I want to not forget that I want this one to be on the top. So I think I'd like to separate this green from the green in here and put this one here. Oops, got to go this way. Oh man, bummer. And then this one. And then this one. And then this one. And then I'm glad I got the ticking on that end this time. I really wanted that ticking. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Now I do like to use my white glue on this part because I like that that quick adhesion that you get from the white glue. So we're going to bring our mechanism over, and in case you haven't been watching the series, which we've done this multiple times, you're going to start by placing your bottom one on your on this line. So not down here, but here. Okay, I guess you could have not had that extra score line coming to think about it, but I do think it helps the mechanism. And we're just going to put glue all across in this open space. I'll hold this up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going from side to side and just filling that up with glue. I know it's probably hard to see, and I do like to turn my paper a little bit so that I can get a good feel for this. So this is green on green, which is not favorable to me, but it is what it is. And then it should be 4 inches. So again, I don't strive for perfection. So if it's not exactly straight or exactly right, then I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm just gonna move on. So then we just go on to this one, and we're gonna do the same all the way up till the last one. So I'm not gonna speed this up much, but I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna turn the music on and speed it up just slightly so that we can keep the video manageable. Once you do this a time or two, it gets so easy that you're just like, I could do this with my eyes closed almost. So this is the last one. It's going to go right there. Okay. And while that dries, we're going to cut off the top. So I only want about 1/2 inch of that bit that's left over there. So I just lined this top piece onto that line, and then I know I'm at 1 inch there. Just cut that baby off, and we'll cut off some of the bottom in a moment. But I do like to let that glue set for just a few minutes, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just ink this up, buying a little bit more time. My ink is no longer super juicy. Okay, so now you're going to take this and you're going to fold this back. And you want to make sure that mechanism is moving with you. So each page that you fold back, you're making sure that the mechanism is moving so that you're creasing at that center point. If you're doing this, you're doing fine. Okay. Flipping that up and flipping that up. And there you go. Okay. So the next step is to, we're going to flip this over. And if you've been watching, you've seen me do this multiple times. And I'm going to make a pencil mark, not quite to that edge, but about right there. I'm going to make a couple just because I'm a little bit brain dead at the moment. And then we're going to flip this, close it back up. And then we're going to bring our project over, our little pouch. And we're going to put this in here like that. I kind of wish I hadn't inked that edge of that thing, but it is what it is now. So you can go all the way to the top, or if you want to balance this, since we've got so much at the bottom, I did bring my other one down just a little bit. So I'm going to just kind of it looks like that's a little more than 1/4 of an inch at the top. So I'm going to follow that down at the bottom, and I'm going to cut that off. Let's see it like so. Now, for some reason, these ones have tons of glue space. Like, look at that. I think it's because I didn't have as many mechanism flips. I only have 6, right? So, and I love how that looks. Look at that. So cool. This one doesn't have very much ink, though. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix that. There we go. Pop that one out. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So now we're going to round the bottom as well. I don't think I inked any of this mechanism, so I might have to lift the skirt here for a moment and get some ink in there. I didn't even think about that. So you can just lift this up and catch that whole edge pretty easily. Okay, just like that. She's good. Okay, and again, I wish I hadn't inked. So I would advise you not to ink this edge. So that's the edge of the farthest line there of that piece, because then it wouldn't stand out, but it is okay. We're gonna just roll with it. And I'm just kind of, so this is a little deceiving because this is that gusset part. So I want to center this between this gusset line and this gusset line. Okay. In fact, let me ink that one. Maybe that will take away some of the attention from the other one. So I'm just folding that. I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, and maybe that will help. I'm not sure. Like that. So we are centering between this line and this line for getting this piece even. Okay. So yeah, like that. So now I can see that a lot better. So now I'm going to put glue just from this line down, and I'm using my Fabri-Tac for this. I think my husband's home. I hear some clanking out there in the kitchen. And again, I want to kind of center it top to bottom a little bit as well. So just kind of roughly. And I'm really looking at the side to side as well. That looks pretty good. Now, you can't really do anything up here because nothing's glued. That's all loose, okay? It's all loose. So I'm just going to focus on the bottom here and just give that a good press. Now, I was thinking one could probably put a small pocket here because as long as it doesn't interfere with your mechanism like that, like that's all the way up. And as long as it's not, let me see if I can show you where that mechanism is. It's only right to here. Okay, it's only right to here. So you do have room to put a pocket there if you wanted to risk that. I'm not in the mood for that. Not in the mood for that business. So that's what she looks like, guys. So beautiful. I love it. So let's go ahead and work on our pocket. So I wanted the pocket to be out of, I don't want the pocket to be green because we're going to flip this. Let's go ahead and do the pockets out of the pink instead. So our pocket is going to measure, sorry for the bustling around here, 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 with a quarter, and that includes a 1/4 inch gusset on all sides, or on 3 sides rather. So, I think I want to retain this ticking because I like that. I like that in this pattern. I'm going to just cut that little bit of white off the top, and I'm going to go 4 1/4 over, so 4 1/4 inches wide. Okay, like that. Yes. Yes. 4 1/4. Check your work, Cara-Renee. 4 1/4. 4 1/4. Okay. And then I'm going to, I think I'm going to cut off a little bit off the top. I'm going to focus on that side ticking. And then this needs to be 5 1/4 inches tall. I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Okay, like so. And now we're going to do our little gussets for the pocket. So it's a little bit of a more of a roomier pocket. So I'm going to bring this over, and I'm going to score on 3 sides to create that gusset. Okay, and then I like to miter the corners just so everything folds nicely. I've been doing this a lot. I really like the gusseted pocket because you don't have to force anything in. It's just really nice and roomy. And hopefully that's going to work out. I had one of them that I was playing around with and it was like a little bit too wide. So I'm going to sample this here by our, sometimes the things don't cut perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm turning it upside down just because I want to make sure that this is actually going to fit. I guess we're committed, so let's just do it. I just had a little bit of an issue. Nope, it looks fine. It looks fine. Emergency averted. Okay, so let's go ahead and give that a good crease. Give this a good crease. And our bottom a little bit. I've also been crying. Spent a little bit of time with my younger daughter this afternoon. She met me at school and we chatted a bit. And it's hard to see our kids hurt and struggle and yeah, just struggle. So that's why I'm a little sniffly. Okay, there we go. So I want to put a thumb notch in the top of this. You, of course, could do what you like, but I am going to do that. And then we're going to ink around this, and then we'll be able to move on to the next thing. I think for the sake of time, I'm not going to make the cards on camera because it's just a simple, you know, cutting it down to fit this pocket, which I would probably make the, well, because it's gusseted, you can almost go 4 1/4 inches wide, and you can go taller than 5 1/4, so, or whatever that is. That's not 5 inches. So I'll do that off camera just to save time, because I do want to do a little bit of decorating for you because I think people have been enjoying that. Now, another thing you could do, which I think I'm going to do this one a little different. On the other one, I rounded this corner so that I could bring it down, but our pocket, we've got plenty of room. So I think I'm going to bring it up and just keep that rounded and not round the corner of the pocket. So I'm going to use my white glue here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just go in about probably a 1/2 inch from the bottom, I would say, if I was measuring. Not a huge measure, at least not when I don't have to be. I'm going to scooch that over just a smidge and then use my bone folder to just really, I like that accent of bringing that pink out. This was a good choice for a color for the pocket. So that is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that's a word. And so, you know how I like to also create some separation in things. So let's see what the width of that is. No, that's not going to work. Let's bring a piece of this over. I think I'd like to do a separation with this and maybe grab some of that text there. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut a bit of this, just a slice of it. I'll give you the measurement here. I think this is 1 inch, so it's just a 1 inch strip. Okay, and I'm going to ink that up as well. It just, I love this technique because it gives you this really beautiful layered look, and kind of, to me, layers are kind of give you a little bit of mystery, which is always fun. There we go. And I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to probably have to pause and take a look at some of the ephemera. and decide what we want to use here. And then that is pretty much it. I will also put a punch here. A eyelet there, but I'm not going to do that on camera either. So again, here's our mechanism. Love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. Now, I had another comment where the person said you could also put photos. So I'm thinking that it would be really cool if you had just a cool little photo there or an image. Got a little stickage there on each of these. I think that would be really, really pretty. So I'm not going to do that, but that's also a time when you could do that is when you're actually putting things into your journal and getting everything the way you like it. You can add those personal elements to it. So I'm going to just get some stuff out of the way here. And I'm going to bring over, I've got a ton of ephemera. I printed so much for this kit because I was so in love with it. Like, this is what I printed. So let's see what we've got in here that we can use. So give me a second, and I'm going to pull some things out that I think would be fun here. Okay, just fussy cutting the last of the ephemera that I pulled out. I'll show you it in a second. Again, I mentioned I just love these Pink Monarch prints. If I said My Porch prints, my apologies. I get the two confused just because they're both beloved creators that I purchased from. So anyway, their stuff is just so mix and match. Like the little bits of ephemera go with the papers, and the papers all go with each other, and it's just so delightful. So we're just going to finish this little butterfly up, and then we'll start talking about how we want to decorate this baby. I apologize if the video is a little bit long. I don't know what I'll be able to cut out, so we will see how long it ends up being. Sometimes I can speed things up, and I cut out the inking and all of that jazz. That's a tiny little bit. Goodness gracious. Okay. There we go. I don't save the tentacles, guys. I don't fuss with that. I don't have the energy for that. There we go. You can always pencil them in or draw them in. So these are the bits that I have. A couple of words or phrases. That I thought was really cute. And then I love this. We'll probably put that on the front, but I thought we could put this heart right here. Oh, it might not work because that's too samey there. So maybe we could put this here. Yeah, let's just do it. We're not going to overthink this. Ink it up. I do want to kind of grunge up the whole of this and make it look a little bit more aged. You know what I mean? There we go. Yeah. Well, that's perfect there. Let's glue her on. Boy, that was all over the place. Okay, we're just going to put that little saying on. Flowers are the music of the ground, from earth's lips spoken without a sound. Isn't that so beautiful? Okay, we're going to just look at this and see if we're moderately even. That looks pretty good. And then we have the heart, but now the heart is not going to... Oh, the heart could go over here, though. I think that would be really pretty. Let's do that. And we can put that right there. I wonder if this would do with a bit of a strip to separate that. Let's think about that. I think I do want to do that. So I'm just going to grab a piece of the pink ticking paper and use a bit of that. I'm just cutting about a 3/4 inch. I think that's a 3/4 inch. Yeah, 3/4 inch strip. And I like that green ticking part because I think it really helps it to go with this. So I'm going to go ahead and make a pencil mark and do this by hand. As always, guys, if the video is too long for you, you can speed me up. I've tested it. You can speed me up to 1.5 times the normal speed, and I don't sound like a deranged chipmunk, as I say. I'll go ahead and ink that up. because I know you guys don't have, you know, oodles and gobs of time, and there's lots of people you want to watch on YouTube. I don't get any YouTube time. Lately, I have not gotten any YouTube time for crafting videos, so it's just the nature of things right now. I want to kind of go to the inside here because I am going to put, well, I guess it can go out a little bit because I want to make sure I have room for our eyelet there, but I'll do that off camera. So there we go. I wanted to try to make another one, but there's just no feasible way that's going to happen in my life right now. There we go. Looks good. Does it look nice and even? Let's kind of use our grid to see. Needs to go over a little bit on the bottom. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and put our flower. Oh, that's so pretty, and it ties everything together. Love it. Okay. And again, just everything in the kit goes together. The background pages, so all these pages, I printed 3 of each, aside from what I used here, because I just love it so much. So there, we're going to put that there. Looks okay. And then I was thinking it would be fun to put something here, but I don't really want to cover that up either. So let's see what we've got going on the front. So this is all samey. I really want to keep this simple. So let's look at this. That's really big though. Could put it here, but then it wouldn't show. We could put it, oh, right there. Don't you love it when that happens? Just move it, just showcase it and see what speaks to you, what looks pleasing. I might do some decorating on the front once I decide what I want. Doubtful though, because I don't have enough time, but that's okay. If something occurs to me before I take the photos, I'll add it. But oh, that's a perfect addition right there. Love that. Okay. So I think I was going to look for a circle, but I didn't even really see any circles in this kit, which is really strange because usually they have circles. So that's interesting. Very interesting indeed. So what could we use? We've got these tags. I wonder if we could do something with that piece of that tag. Let's just try that and put a circle on our that top piece of the element. So I'm going to reach for a bigger hole punch or circle punch here. Well, that's an oval. Okay, let's do this one. This is a 3-inch punch. Okay, it's not too big. Yeah, I actually kind of like that. I'll go as far over here as I can. Oh, this is the one that doesn't cut very well. It always does this little thing on this one end for some reason. Just fix that. Doesn't have to be perfect, as I say. Just ink that up a little bit. That was a really rough edge. Holy Toledo. No, I can't even see it. This was right there. It's a little bit of a bump there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, I like that actually. I do like that. So I do want a separating piece on here though, because I need to break up that image. So let's do a little bit here. It's the right width, so we just need to change the depth here. So I'm just going to raise that pencil line that I see. Just like that, just enough to give some separation there. And then we'll be just about done. Again, I'll put the eyelet on off camera, and you guys can see the close-up pictures at the end of the video. And again, I wish I could have done another one, but I just can't make it happen. So let's do that. And again, doing this little strip just separates the elements from each other so they don't all kind of bleed together. So we're just going to kind of aim for the center of this like that. And then we can glue our circle on top of that. This turned out really pretty. I'll put the couple quotes on that I pulled out. One says, "The earth laughs in flowers," and then "Sunshine in my soul." And I'll add those off camera because we need to be done. We need to be done here. So I'm trying, sort of centering that, sort of, not really, but that is it, guys. So again, this will be, it'll be closed like the other one I showed you, and it's just this neat little pouch, like a wallet almost, but it's not closed, it's open. And then I'll put some cards in here as well. And I'll just finesse it. If I feel like I want anything on the front here, I might do something, or here. I'm just not quite sure. And I don't want to make a rash decision on camera. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.